Hi everyone, it's Mr. Robinson here. Now, I'm going to get to talk again about my favourite subject. It's prep time again. Now, the reason why I'm so hyped up about this is because I've walked around the school for the whole half term and you're all doing this brilliantly and you're all working really hard, and every prep time I'm seeing complete silence and everyone working. Now, this session is just about trying to make sure that the 3 or 4 mistakes that people are making, meaning that, yeah, you're working hard, but you might not be getting as much out of it as you could do. Okay, so here's the first mistake, and this is a favourite of a lot of you, right? Can you see all this information down the side here? There is loads of information, and you want to learn it all, so you're trying to be really good. So what I'm seeing lots of people doing is they are literally just copying the whole thing out. Now, this is not a good idea. So have a look at what some people are doing. Right, so this is me earlier, writing it all out. Look at all that. I've written out the whole of this first section up here, and I've written over here. Am I going to remember any of that stuff? There is no way I'm going to remember anything, because in the end, all I've done is just copied out words, and I wasn't even looking at the words when I was copying them because I didn't have time. And this, just writing this out, took me about 3 or 4 minutes. Now you've only got about 18 minutes in prep, so there is no way that's going to work for you. So your first task, what you're going to do now is, as a group, the teacher's going to pause the video, and you're going to try and that whole paragraph up here. So all of this work up here, this paragraph, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. What you're going to try and do is try and summarise that into less words. So only picking out the key information rather than copying out all of it. Right, give it a go. Right, this is what I've done. So this is my summary of all the information. Now what you'll notice is I've kept all the key information, but I've just taken out all the stuff that I don't think will help me. Now I've now only got to learn maybe a quarter of what was there before, and even just by doing that summary, I already feel like I understand it much more than I did before. Right, so that first key thing that you need to do, first of all, with a lot of the sheets is to summarise. Now, just a quick thing there is, there's some sheets where you can't summarise because it's already in bullet point form, but for these other sheets where there's lots of information like that, it's really important you summarise. Okay, so now the second mistake that people are making. They've got all this information now, and what do they want to do now? They've now summarised. They now just try and learn it all at once. They try and learn all 5 paragraphs in one go, and that is never, ever going to work. So you're going to use your look, cover, check technique for this, and I'm going to get you to do it on your own in a minute. So after I've explained it, you're going to all do it on your own in the class. Right, so the first thing is, I'm going to try and learn just the first paragraph. So what's the key bits in the first paragraph? So I'm going to try and actually split up the first paragraph. So the first thing I need to know is that DNA is inside a nucleus. Now I keep on doing this again and again because I want to make sure I remember nucleus, how to spell it. Right, so I would cover that up and think, where is DNA? I remember that DNA is inside the nucleus. And the big thing I'm going to do is check back to see if I've got that right spelling, which I have. Right, so I've learnt that first tiny bit. Now, I'm going to try and learn the second half of that paragraph. So the second half is that it's got all the info. So I'll just put all info required to replicate or reproduce organism. Right, so now that I've tried to do the 2 parts of it, I'm now going to test myself on both parts. So that's the key thing, you've got to keep on testing yourself on both parts, not just one. So what's the 2 parts say? It's got about the DNA being inside the nucleus, and I know now that I'm spelling it right. And the second part of it is that it's got all info required to reproduce the organism. Right, now I now know that I'm happy with that first paragraph because I've checked it and I know all the first paragraph. The next thing I've got to do is try and learn the second paragraph. So just really quickly, I'm going to show you that the second paragraph has only got 2 bits. It's talking about there being X shapes and it being chromosomes. Now, just because I've now learned that second bit, what's the key thing I've got to do now is I've got to go back and check that I know both of them. Not just the second bit, I need to know both. So I will cover up the 2 paragraphs and think, what is it that I need to know? I know that DNA is stored inside a nucleus. It has all the information required to reproduce as a organism, and it's X-shaped, and those X-shapes are called chromosomes. Now, the fact that I remember those 2 bits now is perfect. So now what I try and do is learn the third bit. And when I learn the third bit, I then check myself on all 3. Then I'll learn the 4th bit, check myself on all 4. It's that constant repetition, which is what's going to lead to you doing well. Okay, now it's over to you. So you summarise your information. You're now going to try and learn that information the way I've just asked you to do. You've got about 5 minutes to do that. Okay, so here are the 3 key reminders that you've got to have. Right, never just read the sheet or just copy out. That's not going to make any difference to you, and you'll feel like you're working hard, but actually you're doing nothing. Secondly, if there's lots and lots of information with lots of words, summarise to only the key words you need to learn. And finally, learn small sections at a time. You're not going to get anywhere by trying to learn a big chunk of information at once. You'll end up missing big bits. So you learn a tiny bit, test yourself on that, add another bit, test yourself on both bits, add another bit, test yourself on all 3, and carry on like that.